Hello everyone, my name is Gibbs and welcome back to the Football Podcast. I am once again joined by Joe. How you doing, Joe?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good. Now, we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. There's been a lot of stuff going on, but the first things first. Spurs have just bottled it once again. Joe, here's my honest opinion to you. Are Spurs ever, or question, is Spurs ever going to win anything?
Spurs are going to win something. I don't think it's fair to say they're never going to win anything, but it's just they have no conviction in the one game that matters towards the end. So, for example, Premier League when Leicester City won, Chelsea drew 2-2 with them to stop them from getting the title.
Yeah.
And it's because when it comes down to the last game, they always bottle it. And it's like that in this game we just watched now. They just seem to have no... When I was watching the game, it just seemed to have no passion in trying to get there. They all just seemed like... It didn't seem like a team. They just seemed like separate players.
It didn't seem like they cared. My opinion with Spurs is they have a natural young English squad.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've got a few.
They have a really good squad compared to teams that are contending up there.
Exactly. I mean, I think they need to work on some depth, like on the bench.
Have you been watching Spurs
positions
lately?
Yeah.
Since Harry Kane's come back from injury, he hasn't been the same. He's been terrible. Did you watch the game just now?
Yeah.
He's been terrible.
It is. Yeah. I feel like Spurs are just not. They just have that thing about them that there's a stereotype of them being bottlers, but they are literally putting that statement to bed, saying it's true because of how much they bottle it at the moment.
Yeah.
Like
Eriksen was like basically the only player that I could look at them and think you're really good.
Yeah. I don't think Kane ever really touched the ball.
I don't think, to be honest, if Kane keeps this performance up for the rest of the season, he should start in the World Cup.
I don't understand why we don't start Vardy in the World Cup.
I think that Vardy and Rashford will start before Harry Kane if he carries on the rest of the season.
So I just feel like Spurs aren't really... For the next few years, I feel like... We can't say they haven't got a good squad, because they have. I mean... Yeah.
It could be better if you look at Man City's squad and...
Yeah, exactly. I mean...
Liverpool's squad and that.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's room for improvement, but you also look at their squad and think you could win.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than you have.
They've got a lot of winners in their team, like Eriksen.
And the more that this goes on, to be fair, the longer this happens, the longer it will happen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Because they just lose confidence more and more and more.
The longer they don't win any trophies, the sooner that the good players will start to leave.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's when Spurs will start becoming what they used to be.
And Real Madrid probably come in for Kane.
Yeah. I can see someone coming in for Eriksen as well. I can see him fitting in sort of
definitely.
PSG
Eriksen should go to a massive club.
Yeah.
Not that Spurs aren't, but there's bigger clubs.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to a team that you would regard as a big club now. Man City, Premier League champions. We all knew this was going to happen. What have you made of their season this year, Joe?
It's been... Everyone's going to say they bought the title, but who doesn't?
Yep.
I think it's very unfair to say Man City have bought the title and say that Leicester didn't. Because although Leicester did it in a different way, they still bought players to win the league. So, in that respect, there's that. But I feel like they started off the league so well that for the rest of the games now, they've just sat back. They could have done better in these last few games.
Yeah.
But because they knew how well they did at the start and the goal difference and all that type of stuff, they basically just sat there and gone, should we just take it down a level? Chill out a bit more. That's almost what it seemed like.
Yeah. People do say City bought the league, but then Man United bought so many players, a lot of money, and look at them compared to City.
Yeah. But then if Man United won, they would the same thing. If any of the teams that are in like the top 6 right now had won,
yeah,
they would say they bought the league. So
you say that. I think Arsenal have got a good amount of money to do something with their squad. I think people don't realise it, but I think Liverpool have got a really good amount of money now, especially being in the Champions League.
From Van Dijk and that went out, didn't it? How much did Coutinho sell for?
130 cent, I think.
And he bought Van Dijk after, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Still a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money, and we're getting you get a lot of money from being in the Champions League now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that statement shouldn't really be on City because they bought the right players for their squad, and there's still a lot of improvement to do. Actually, I think, but I don't think their defenders are actually complete yet. I think their defence could be better.
Yeah, I feel like for some of the teams in the league, the owners hold them back a lot. West Ham, Newcastle into the owners, put the Newcastle up for sale. Abramovich a bit, but not so much. But a lot for Arsenal, I think. The owners don't give. This happened a lot for Chelsea, actually. The owners don't give the managers the funding they need to get the players they want.
Yeah. And
then it all goes down to the manager, and then a lot of the time the manager gets a lot of the money, and then like Arsene Wenger, he just doesn't spend the money.
Yeah.
And when he does, he spends like a tiny amount of it.
Yeah. There's also something about City that a lot of the thing about Pep critics is that he's only managed big teams. And I do get that, but Pep has developed a brilliant way of playing football.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I feel like he's implemented that to every single team he's been to.
He's done well to implement it from the La Liga with what's it called, Barcelona into the Premier League. That's something not many managers can do.
Yeah. You feel like managers like Jurgen Klopp, who brought their style that he played at Dortmund and has sort of developed it in a different way to Liverpool, because Liverpool don't play exactly the same way they did with Dortmund, but I feel Man City are playing at the level and the quality that Barcelona did.
Yeah.
I mean, the football that Man City played, some of the football that Man City played this
you
season.
could say that Man City balled it. They lost to Wigan and Liverpool very badly, 5-1.
On aggregate, yeah.
So at the same time as saying Spurs are bottlers, yes, they're consistent bottlers, but this season, although they've won the league, in all other competitions they've done pretty poor.
Yeah, I know we shouldn't really, think of him as a personal break, but Paul Merson.
Yeah.
He said that every single time Man City have been put pressure on, have been put under pressure, have crumbled. And I agree with him. They have. You feel like we put pressure on them, they crumbled. Wigan put pressure on them, they crumbled. Man United put pressure on them, and they crumbled.
And the thing is, Chelsea lost really badly because Chelsea sat back and did nothing.
Yeah. And I just feel like there's more to come with Man City.
Yeah. If they can sort out that aspect of their game, like you were just saying, then there's a lot more they have to prove.
Yeah, definitely. So we're going to move on from City then, and we're going to go, well, not necessarily move on from City, but move on to other Premier League teams regarding with City. So what do teams have to do to compete with City?
They need a lot of money. But I think they just need to not be afraid to attack and not be afraid of these big named players, as they have the ability the big name players have. But maybe the big name players, they do have more ability, but when it comes down to it, a smaller player can perform better in certain games.
Yeah.
so they shouldn't be worried.
Yeah, I feel like teams need to go at them. They need to press them. They need to put them under pressure because their defence is shaky. Otamendi, I think, is terrible. I just feel like he's had a good season, but when he's been put under pressure, he falls over like a sack of shit.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's what teams need to do. They need to go at City. And I feel like with Naby Keita coming in to Liverpool, and Man United with their money, that they can attract really good players. That I feel like it'll be a lot more competitive the next season.
Yeah. Liverpool's one of those clubs where if you're external from the Premier League and you look into the Premier League, you think, oh, Liverpool are quite good.
Yeah.
Type of thing, you know. Not that I'm bigging up Liverpool, don't get any ideas, but it's just that they can attract people.
Liverpool is a big name, a big club.
It's a big club that has the ability to produce more than they have.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Liverpool fans have been calling out for the we need trophies back, because we still are a big club, but we need to win that Premier League trophy as well as the Champions League.
Yeah. I think you have a good shot of winning the Champions League.
I think, yeah.
Just take your opportunities.
We'll come on to the Champions League later. But another big story that came out, I think it was a few days ago now, that KONAMI, the company that runs PES and makes PES, ending partnership with UEFA, which no longer means they'll have the Champions League in there, so that no longer the Champions League anthem or the Champions League, the graphic and all that. My opinion on this, shit decision, because you've just pretty much gave FIFA Champions League.
Yeah, I think that was a poor move, because one of the things you see when say like they get a YouTuber to play the game, they go onto the game and you see the Champions League music and all that type of stuff, and it's a huge attraction for people. And now that's gone. And I know I've been playing FIFA, and I noticed that it's called like the Champions Cup on FIFA, and it's like a different symbol and everything. There's no music. If FIFA get the partnership with UEFA, that's huge.
It's really huge.
That's a changing point,
because
for a lot of people playing PES.
PES don't have Premier League licensing. I don't think they have any league licensing.
No,
they have obviously they have some of the teams licensing, but the actual leagues, I don't think they have any, apart from the Champions League, the competition. Which I just find so stupid, because FIFA are going to have that. I'm pretty sure FIFA are going to go and get a partnership with UEFA, and FIFA's going to have the Premier League graphic, the Premier League music, and now the Champions League. It's FIFA are going to gain sales, while PES are going to start to lose sales.
Definitely.
It's a stupid move by PES, and I don't really understand.
But for all we know, they could have something different up their sleeve. They could have something planned.
They could have another league partnership. They could have
the Premier League. Good.
But like, if they get the Premier League, then that is good, and that's a good replacement.
Yeah, but
I can't guarantee they'll have that.
You'd rather have both, wouldn't you?
Oh yeah.
So
the problem with PES is, if FIFA goes for a company that they want to be a partnership with, and PES do the same, they'll go for FIFA instead of PES. The company would rather work with FIFA than PES, because FIFA's a bigger name now.
Yeah.
Even though back in the day you would say, in my personal opinion, that Pro Evo was a lot more of a bigger name until FIFA started getting better.
Yeah, definitely.
Obviously, another big story: Arsene Wenger leaving Arsenal at the end of the season. Poor, big decision. Opinions on that one, Joe?
I think they've finally made the correct decision.
Yeah.
And as I stated earlier, he doesn't do well with his money. I think he's been disrespected by the fans a lot more than he should have been. I mean, they had their right to call him out for doing things wrong, but at the same time, there's some of the stuff they said that they shouldn't have. Because although at recent times he's kind of started to run the club into the ground, he has done a lot I mean, a lot for the club. Without him, a lot of their good times wouldn't be there. So I think that they were too disrespectful to him, but at the same time, he needs to go.
Yeah, I feel like it was a good decision on Arsenal's behalf. I feel like some of the fans were saying that were too abrupt and too disrespectful to someone that's brought them so much success in the Premier Leagues. Am I right in saying that before Arsene Wenger came in, they didn't win the Premier League?
I don't believe so, and if they did, it was a while until they had.
Yeah.
Before that.
Because I feel like they probably won the league before the Premier League, well, before the league was renamed into the Premier League. But you see, Arsene Wenger has started to put the club to the ground, really, and started running them out of Champions League football now, because obviously they used to have constant, always in the Champions League, and people would mock them for calling the top four a trophy, but now they can't even get top four. So I feel like it's a really good decision from Arsenal, and I feel like I don't feel like it was Wenger's decision. I feel like the board made him basically come out and say that, say that he was leaving.
And I think he's going to be sad, but I feel like it's going to be a good thing for him.
Yeah.
And he may go on to manage France, or I think he'll go somewhere else before he quits being a manager, because he won't want to finish his career like that, I don't feel like.
I would like Arsene Wenger to be the England manager.
I'd like I'd like him to go on to a club, and I know Arsenal are Chelsea's rivals and all, but still, I'd like him to go on to another club and just completely light it up and win instantly and win tons of stuff and do really well.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like he deserves it for all the stuff he's got from the Arsenal fans.
Yeah. Who do you think should replace Wenger?
I think it shouldn't be a ex-player.
Right.
I think it should be an experienced manager. Someone like Allegri, the Juventus manager.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would be a good manager to come in for Arsenal. I've heard a lot about Thomas Tuchel.
Yep.
And I'm not too sure about him, to be honest, but I guess we'll see. Maybe Mikel Arteta. Let's go. Mikel Arteta, the assistant at Manchester City.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of history of the club, so I don't think that'd be a bad one.
And he's had a lot of experience with Pep Guardiola. I don't understand why people aren't really thinking about Rafa Benitez. I mean, look what he's done to Newcastle. Their squad is practically championship quality.
Although I agree with you that he's a fantastic manager and he should go. He probably would be a good signing for Arsenal. I feel like he won't.
Well, he won't personally.
Yeah, he won't want to.
You could say that. Yeah, I suppose so. But then, I think he would, because I don't know. It's hard to think, really.
I think he wants to win something with Newcastle.
Yeah, it probably would be a good
Europa League or something. Still good for him. That Championship, and they're already doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Rafa Benitez probably does want to win something for Newcastle, and I also Rafa Benitez is just such a classy manager that you can't hate him, can you?
Not really, no.
It's just, I don't know. He's done so much. I mean, the squad we took out, this Liverpool squad in the Champions League final in 2005. Holy shit, it was really bad. And to come back from that and to win the Champions League with a squad like that, it has to give so much credit to Rafa Benitez for that.
Yeah, definitely. I can tell you some that have been linked with Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
So Allegri is one of them.
Yep.
Ancelotti, former Chelsea.
I don't think it was.
He got sacked by Bayern.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Arteta's also one. Luis Enrique, the
Barcelona boss, performer?
Yeah, former Barcelona boss, but has also been linked with Chelsea to replace Antonio Conte.
Right.
Wouldn't mind that. Leonardo Jardim, who's the Monaco manager.
Right.
He did a lot for them during when they won the league every year. Brendan Rodgers. I'm not too sure about that one, to be honest.
I don't think that's
Patrick Vieira, who
I don't think so.
he's a terrible manager. Have you seen? He's New York City manager, and he just the worst thing I've ever seen.
Really?
I think on his debut for the club as a manager, they lost 6-1 or something.
Oh my god.
But and Diego Simeone for Atletico Madrid. I don't think that'd be a bad one.
See, I feel like people would want Thierry Henry more than Vieira.
A lot of people want Thierry Henry.
For Belgium, so obviously he's the assistant coach of Belgium, isn't he? And I feel like there's better experience with Thierry Henry.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
Thierry's been in punditry for a while now, so he's got to watch the game and watch what managers do wrong and right. And
yeah. And obviously it's a coach of a national team. Obviously he's not the full coach, but he still has some say. Now, we're going to move on to the Champions League. And we're going to get your prediction, Joe, on who do you think will win it?
Who do I honestly think will win it? In all honesty, as much as I want Liverpool to win so that Chelsea get a place Champions League, I do think Real Madrid may win it. It's a really difficult one though. It's between Liverpool and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I just feel like Liverpool will be... Obviously it's all assumption, but Liverpool would look at that Real Madrid squad, see all those names and maybe feel a bit worried and crumble under the pressure. Yeah,
I can see that. I'm going to give my prediction and my actual prediction. I would love Liverpool to win the Champions League, obviously. We can then rub it in Man United fans' face again, saying that we won it 6 times. And obviously it'd just be really good for the club, good for Jurgen Klopp, and then the haters can stop saying that he's a flop because he's just won Liverpool a trophy. But I do think Real Madrid have got the experience to do it again.
Yeah.
And I feel like they are going to do it again because they're that team that in the final you don't want.
They have so much confidence going into that final because of the amount of times they've won it.
Yeah, and Ronaldo being in their squad.
Yeah.
A bit like Salah for us.
Can't rely on Ronaldo for everything though, that's the only thing.
Yeah. A bit like Salah for us, it's like we get confidence when Salah's in the team as well as Van Dijk in the back. Even though, we did draw 2-2 with West Brom today. What do Chelsea need to do, Joe, in the Premier League to become what they are again, or what they should be?
To be honest with you, it doesn't take much. I feel like because the chances are we're not going to have the pressure of Champions League on us next season. We'll have a good shot at the Premier League again. It's just that I feel like every time we have an external competition, like the Champions League, we crumble. You can see it because we win, and then we lose, and then we win. And every time we've lost the Premier League, we've lost by quite a bit, which means we don't get Champions League football. And then every time we don't have Champions League football, we win again. Yeah. So to be honest, not being in the Champions League brackets will have a big part to play. Yeah. But also, I feel like if Antonio Conte stays, which is a good chance he won't, but if he does, if he gets the right funding for what he wants, then there's a good chance for Chelsea to win in that. Yeah. It's just I feel like this season he didn't get all the funding he wanted, so he didn't bring in all the players he wanted.
Yeah. What sort of players do you want to see come in?
I want to see Thorgan Hazard, Eden Hazard's brother. He's been doing pretty well. To be honest with you, I feel like he got Morata, which is someone he wanted, but he got a last-ditch striker like Giroud, who's done very well, by the way. I really like how Giroud's been playing. He better start against Southampton. But it's almost like he wanted someone to match Morata and play off each other, and he didn't get the second player, and he just bought Barkley and Giroud and all that in hope of creating that partnership. And to be honest, did you watch the Burnley game?
No.
Well, it started. Morata and Giroud started up front, two strikers. First time Chelsea done it since 2011, and they played really well off each other.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just Chelsea would have won by a lot more. They won 2-1 in the end. Chelsea would have won by a lot more if Morata gets his confidence back up and has his shooting boots on, so to speak. So, do you have any thoughts on it?
I feel like Chelsea have got some sort of balance in their squad to do well. I feel like defence probably needs to be a little bit more improved. With Cahill not being.
Well, hopefully David Luiz will get back into the squad next season if Conte leaves, because he isn't injured. I know he constantly says he's injured. He's not injured.
Yeah.
Conte's just fell out with him.
Yeah.
And Conte's one of the people you don't want to fall out with.
Yeah. A bit like Costa with him.
I reckon that's why he benched Hazard.
Really?
I reckon Hazard had a dispute with him for some sort of reason. Because I'm not gonna lie, Hazard seems one of those stuck up type of people. He knows he's good at football.
Oh yeah.
So he uses it and is just really stuck up. And I reckon he was really out there with Conte and stuff, and he got taught a lesson.
I feel like your midfield needs to change a lot.
Definitely. Kante deserves a spot every game ever, but it was like Drinkwater's last-ditch effort at getting a player to fit.
Yeah. I don't know what Chelsea were thinking about buying Ross Barkley.
I don't understand why. I don't think it was Conte's decision.
No,
I reckon Abramovich's decision, because I reckon he just wanted another English player in the squad, somewhat young English player, to just add more. It's more for the external view on Chelsea rather than the actual team, because he needs two defensive players in that midfield, and when he doesn't have that, and you've seen that we've had a defensive and an attacking player in midfield, we've lost. Yeah. So that's why he brought in Bakayoko.
We're going to have a little chat about transfers now. One of the stories that I didn't realise actually were happening was Juventus were in a race to sign Jack Wilshere, but have now pulled out.
Not surprised.
Your opinion on why you think Juventus would go for Jack Wilshere?
Not really too sure, to be completely honest with you, but chances are they're struggling. I reckon they've had a few injuries in midfield, I think. And what do you think? Whether they've Chan's been no, so they've suddenly thought, oh god, we need someone, and so they've just sent out a random scout, and he's gone Wilshere.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And now they've pulled out, so they obviously have got someone in mind, and Jack Wilshere's not one of them.
Or maybe they just got a proper scout in, and he was like, what's this guy doing? Talking about Wilshere.
Who's Jack Wilshere? Man United were naming a price for Paul Pogba as PSG make contact, reports.
Mm-hmm.
Would you see Paul Pogba being at PSG?
I can see him being there. If Mourinho, he's been starting to do well right now, to be honest. So if he carries on his recent form, then maybe not. But if Mourinho keeps playing it defensively, I can see him going.
Mm-hmm. I think so. I feel like Jose Mourinho is using him totally wrong.
a waste.
He can't play in the 2. He needs to play in the 3. Because you need those 2 midfielders that can play in deep, or not necessarily deep, but one that can rotate. Well, Pogba's the one in the attacking role that can go in and, sort of stay around the edge of the box. And I feel like Jose Mourinho will never do that because he's too stubborn in his tactics.
Yeah, definitely.
Another one is, Kurzawa from PSG.
Yeah.
It says Spurs and Chelsea are in a battle to sign him.
Spurs can have him.
You know up for him?
We got Emerson and Alonso. That's good depth at left back.
Yeah.
I'm happy to keep them. I've got Baba out on loan, I think. So
I don't really know what Kurzawa's like. I don't think he's too great, either, in my personal opinion.
He's like he'll have a good game every so often, and then he'll just be crap for the rest of the season.
Oh right.
So, not really been interest for me.
Richarlison from Watford.
Yeah.
He's been linked with a move to Man United. £40 million.
I think
rated.
That's a good idea for Man United because he looks like a good young player, but I don't think he'll go purely because he'll be advised by different people that he won't get any game time, which is true.
Yeah.
Because Rashford is so much better than him. No offence to him, and he doesn't get any game time, and he should do. So that's what I thought.
Big transfer shock. Barcelona eyeing Tottenham star Christian Eriksen as
He
a
deserves
replacement
a
for
move like
Iniesta.
that. He deserves it, to be honest. He plays so incredibly well. He's almost like Kante for them, but in the attacking sense.
Yeah. Yeah, he's going to be one of the first name on the team sheet. And the last transfer story is Xherdan Shaqiri is being eyed up by Premier League rivals West Ham and Everton and Crystal Palace if Stoke are relegated.
To be honest, I can see him going if Stoke are relegated, and he's really good. He's wasted at Stoke. He's a really good player, and I reckon if he went to, could you say them again? What teams were they?
West Ham, Everton, and Crystal Palace.
I reckon if he went to either West Ham, I can't see him go to Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace going down, but
right.
I think. I'm sure if Crystal Palace is going down there actually. I was checking a bit.
I think they're in the race still.
Yeah. But I can't see him going to Crystal Palace purely because either they'll go down or they'll be unbelievably close to going down.
Yeah.
Everton, yeah, I can see him. Although they've got Walcott on that wing that he'd usually play on, so it's a bit. He may think, I don't know, they've already got a good player there, and so I can see him going to West Ham. Out of all of them, West Ham probably the most likely.
Okay. Well, I think that's going to end today's podcast, Joe.
Yes.
Thanks for joining me once again.
Not a problem.
I suppose we'll see you again once again next Monday for another podcast. If we are both free. If not, we'll do it another Monday or whenever. But thanks for watching, guys. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Comment down below what was your favourite part, and subscribe for more. And until then, bye bye.